What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining my channel today. I really appreciate it. Now, I'm about 24 hours removed from seeing Halloween Kills, and I had to take the day to fully process this. So, right now, we're gonna get into the full review of Halloween Kills. Let's get going. So before I get started, I want to give a shout out to everybody who's reaching out, waiting for my reaction, waiting for my review for this, because that means a lot to me, because I love horror, as everyone that has ever seen my channel or knows me personally knows. And not just horror, but Halloween has a near and dear place in my heart. It is, to me, the best slasher movie ever. The original one was the best slasher movie ever. Michael Myers is the best slasher villain ever. That's my humble opinion. You might not think so. So you all know just how excited I was for this movie, and you saw my last video about why this Halloween Kills could be the best slasher of all time. In short, it is not. At this point right now, if you have not seen Halloween Kills, you might want to stop watching this video, because I cannot talk about this video without going in depth about it. It means I'm so passionate about this whole series, okay? So, I'm going to get into what I liked first. Number one, some of the callbacks were very, very good. Lonnie Lamb, I love his flashback because it tied into the fact when he was talking to Tommy Doyle in the original, telling him that the boogeyman was coming to get him. It made more sense because he actually met the boogeyman face to face and knew it. So I liked that. It connected the dots really well. I also liked the connection for Officer Hawkins, who had the chance to let Dr. Loomis put a bullet in Michael Myers' head back 40 years ago, but he was a good cop. He wanted to play by the book, thinking that this creature, this being, this human walking wrecking ball could be rehabilitated and change his ways. So I like that, to connect the dots there. Another thing I liked in the movie, Michael Myers, okay? My number one reason for why this could have been the best slasher ever was Michael Myers. And in this movie, I call this whole title Halloween Kills, the Michael Myers Showcase, because it really was a showcase of Michael Myers. The whole movie was geared to push him along as this unstoppable force. And every time he was on screen, you knew it was about to go down. This was the most brutal version of Michael Myers. There were a lot of people that were saying this movie was extremely bloody. I don't think so. Now, maybe I would imagine this because of I've seen a lot of horror movies. So some of us that have seen a lot, it was good. There were some bloody parts, but one of the most bloody movies ever, and all these things that people were saying about it, they went way too hard on that. I don't agree with that at all. Okay. Another thing that I did enjoy very much the mob mentality and the mob, how they portrayed what happens negatively from a mob mentality, right? The fact that the other patient killed himself because he was going to be torn apart by this mob who thought he was Michael Myers. And it had some social commentary in the idea of the mob, of a mob itself. And even though they're a handful of level-headed people, the mob drowned them out. Okay? So it goes to show that you might think you want revenge, and it's cool, but what is that revenge going to cost you, and at what cost? And especially if you go from a mob mentality, are you going after the right villain, or are you misplacing your frustration and anger? So I liked that a lot. Now, sadly, that is the extent of what I liked about the movie. Okay? Here is what I didn't like so much about the movie. Okay? This hurts my heart, as you can tell. The leaning on the connection to the original, I feel like they leaned a little too hard. Okay? Specifically, Karen at the end. Karen's death was not befitting of the stature that she was. Okay? Let me explain. His sister Judith, when she was killed in Halloween the original, no one knew who she was. She literally was the first kill. She just sat there. So there was no connection to her, right? So for her to be killed in that way, it's kind of like, okay, this guy, it's shocking because he killed her, but no one's like, oh, I feel so bad for her, because no one knew who she was, right? Now you take Karen, okay, who is in her second time on screen. She is the daughter of Laurie Strode, who is the main character right beside Michael Myers. And you plan to have her death, which I think should have happened. And I said in one of my previous videos, she should have died. So that much was done well. She should have had more of a impactful death, and she should have had her own unique death. She shouldn't have had a recreated death of Judith Myers' death, because the characters don't match, right? Karen was here based off of what's been portrayed so far in this latest few adaptations of Halloween. Judith was here, and over time has been elevated more because of what Michael Myers has become, right? So she's risen alongside with him, but on screen they're not even close. So Karen should have had a much more gripping, much more unique and impactful death than she did. That's one of my gripes. Another one that I had, there were a lot of corny portions to this movie. Like I was telling my brother last night, it felt like, one of my buddies, it felt like listen to a song, and the song's going along real well, and then it just skips. Like I wanted to really dig in and really feel attached to it, and then something happened. Like, but why though? Like, and that's what I kept catching myself doing over and over again. Now I might be the problem, because my expectations were so high. But when you have Halloween, you have Michael Myers. You guys, the creators of Halloween, did that to people like me. You made this iconic, unreachable, bar to set, and it's expected to be at that bar or close to it. So there was absolutely evolution of Michael Myers. Again, his most brutal form ever. The movie itself didn't seem to evolve. It felt to me like I was still watching a movie set in that time frame. And I did like the way that it looked more so like Halloween setting. You know what I mean? I liked the overall color scheme, and just the way that it felt like fall. It felt like a Halloween movie. 2018 didn't have exactly that same feel, but 2018 also had more character depth to me. There was very few. There were a lot of characters in this, and it'd be very hard to give them all their just due and their time to shine. What I also felt, it seemed like a bunch of just scenes of random people that happen to know Michael Myers, and it just stopped. It went on to somebody else random who knew Michael Myers, and somebody else, and so forth and so on. Right? There wasn't enough development. And Tommy Doyle, I respect his character, but as soon as he grabbed the baseball bat as his main weapon, everybody knew how it was going to end. You know what I mean? Like and I respect why he did it, because he last saw Michael Myers as a kid, so he doesn't know just how strong this villain actually is. He feels like a bat would do the job, but for us, we knew it's not going to end well for that guy, right? So there was a lot There's a good amount to like about this, but when you've got the legacy that Halloween has, the expectation is much higher, and that's because of, like I said previously, because of what it put forth in the past. We've seen some really, really good Halloween movies. We've seen some not so good ones. This one, and the reason why I went this way instead of saying did I like it or not yet, okay? Because it's a Michael Myers showcase. I'm here for all things Michael Myers. So because of that, I absolutely like this and will watch it again for Michael Myers, because he showed up and showed why he is the best slasher villain, most ruthless villain there is. Now, in that same vein, they built Michael Myers up for the entire movie long. Okay, I wasn't a big fan of his final fight scene. I like the whole setup with Karen coming in, bringing him to that group of people that beat him down. All of that I like. Here's the only thing I didn't like: when they mixed the Laurie voiceover along with him on the ground and getting up. I feel like since they spent so much time bigging him up the entirety of the movie, that scene where he slaughtered all those people shouldn't have been in slow motion or like those cut scenes. It should have been more fluid, because he had some amazing kills leading up to it, and this is now the final battle of this movie, right? So to see it done in slow motion with the quick cuts, it took away from it. It took away from the intensity of Michael Myers to me, because it slowed him down. Now, granted, I don't know how you. It'd be kind of hard to have it in regular time with all of those people and make it shoot, come across well on screen. I get that. I'm just talking from a fan's perspective of what I would have liked to see with Myers. That and the way that Karen died, I'd have had Karen's death different. My buddy and my brother, myself, were talking about the fact that my buddy felt that they were trying too hard to push everything to the next movie. And the way that it ended was like, okay, we got another movie coming. And what I said to that, I was like, I think the only issue is that the director came out ahead of time, whoever came out ahead of time, to tell us there would be 3, right? Had they not said that, and it ended like it was, then it would have been, okay, great, but they can make another one. You know what I mean? But it doesn't leave us feeling cheated, because to me, it kind of just ended abruptly, and I get why, because of the next movie. But I didn't feel fulfilled by the ending of this movie. Okay, I felt fulfilled from a Michael Myers standpoint. I cannot understate just how awesome he was in this movie. I cannot understate another thing, how awesome the score was, like I thought it would be. John Carpenter and Cody Carpenter brought it like they did in the last movie. I also liked I liked the effect of showing how everyone was affected in a certain way. Like, for instance, the guy that was the kid that was impaled in the last movie, his mother coming down to the hospital looking for him, and then eventually seeing him dead. Like that definitely does something to say, okay, now I want to be a part of this mob. This Michael Myers guy needs to die. Like, I get that, and to see it happen that way, I get it. One of the other things that I was a little bit disappointed with, we saw what happened from Laurie Strode within that whole 40-year time span, and what was on her mind and what she was focused on. She built a house to be a trap just for Michael Myers. She trained herself to be this gun-toting, just this badass. because she knew it would be coming. Everybody else that met him, there was no development over this 40-year time span. They knew who he was, they talked about it and stuff like that, but they weren't preparing anything. It didn't feel as if they were prepared, and they were like, "Oh, he's out, so now let's go ahead and get everybody ready. The troops to get everybody together." Like, that's another thing. Now, I know I'm nitpicking. Because, again, it's a certain level. Not every single review that I would do would be this deep in, because I don't have. I love all things horror. This is a different level of for me as far as my fandom goes. This is what brought me as a horror fan, right? Halloween 1 brought me as a horror fan. So the depth in which I'm going to speak about the movies is going to be much more than some other ones. Okay. Overall, I give the movie a 7. And when I was thinking about it, if you go on to like a Rotten Tomatoes or like an IMDb or one of these different rating websites, great horror movies are in the 5 to 7 range. Or I'll say, let me rephrase that. Slasher movies are often in the 5 to 7 range. And that's why I said I think a lot of my issue with it is on my own shoulders, because my expectations were much higher. And I just felt with such a long time of this franchise, and these just supposed to be the last final 2 movies, I just felt there would have been a little bit more of a maturation process with the actual movie. Michael Myers had matured definitely, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this all wraps up. So part of this review is I feel like I can't fully grade this movie 100% because it's a part of a bigger picture. You know, the way it ended so abruptly, there's more to go. I felt 2018's ending was more definitive, right? You can't get much more definitive than how it was. One more thing that just came to my mind. Allison. What I was hoping was to see her be that badass. Based on the way she grabbed the knife at the end of 2018 when they were in the back of the truck, I had a feeling it was going to go a different direction with her character. A little bit stronger direction. Now, it's not over yet, but I kind of got the same, not the same, but very similar to the same letdown I got from Halloween 5 with Jamie Lloyd. The way Jamie Lloyd ended in 4, I was expecting more in 5. And the way that Allison gripped that knife at the end of 2018, I was expecting something a little different or just a little bit more from her in this one. Versus just, hey, give the knife to Lori, use this when you need it. She should come for herself and been a little bit more intense, I felt. But again, I'm nitpicking. Now, this is my review a day after seeing it, okay? And I'm about to watch it again because I really want to like it much more than I currently do. I still like Michael Myers. I still love Michael Myers. I still love Halloween. I absolutely love the franchise. That's never going to change. But for me, Halloween 2018 was a better movie, overall movie, than Halloween Kills. But Halloween Kills was a much better showcase of Michael Myers than 2018 or any other Halloween. So since I'm here for Michael Myers, that is the reason why it gets a 7. Because it going down to 3 is because of the movie itself. Michael Myers by himself got the 7, and not by himself. The score was good. I already talked about some other things that I did like that were good. So it wasn't by himself, but me rating it a 7 has nothing to do with Michael Myers. It has everything to do with my own high expectations and how I would have liked it to have gone. So I'm curious, guys, because this is a heavily talked about movie, and I want to hear your thoughts. Okay, I want you to tell me, was I way off here? Am I the one with too high expectations? It's just like, it's just a movie. Don't take it so seriously. Like, I'm not taking it seriously, but I'm obviously passionate about this because it is Halloween. So I want your feedback. I want your opinions. I want to know what you thought about it. First of all, like this video. If you're new here, welcome. This is the Glad's Horror Channel, the best horror channel here on YouTube. If you're new, subscribe right now because there's much more horror to go. Okay. Well, first of all, leave a comment about what you thought about Halloween Kills. Then subscribe, and you and I will have a back and forth to talk about this because I feel like I have more to say than I'm saying. I've already been 20 minutes. This is one of the longest videos I've ever done. So I appreciate you all for sticking with me so far. Again, thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.